Hello and welcome back to Mark's NOTCAST. It's been a couple of weeks since I've last done one of these. This is number 411. It is the 29th of October 2024. And, well, if you look forward to regular updates from me, sorry, but I've been busy in the so-called real world, whatever that is. So I've been working very, very hard on a VIP, a very important project that had a specific deadline. Hit the deadline, which is good, but it took a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of my mental capacity. I've not been particularly well. Everyone and their dog seems to be a little bit poorly at the moment, and their cats. Isn't that right, Tinker? Everyone and their cats seems to be a little bit poorly at the moment, and there's been some personal stuff going on, which, you know, I suppose in one respect it's quite good to have a personal life, but in the other respect, sometimes I'm like, oh, you know, as Warhol said, machines have less problems. I'd like to be a machine, wouldn't you? I've also, by the way, not had the bandwidth, to use management speak, to really talk about a specific album or a band, because I've been coming out of the days and I've been so tired and my brain's so empty, and I've just felt I can't then talk for an hour about a band that I love, because that requires a degree of mental arithmetic, and that I just can't do. So instead, it is another random record pull, which I don't tend to do quite as often as this. Let's look in the bag of dreams. So today I have used child labour. I have used a 14-year-old to follow the tasks which I have asked him, and pull out a record, a CD, a DVD or a Blu-ray, a book, a 7-inch, and then I'll have a rummage around and see what I can find. So I have no idea what's in here, and specifically I've had the bag closed so that I don't see. So this looks like a Blu-ray, and let's have a quick look here. It is the first one is To Live and Die in LA, which is a 1985 LA set crime noir thriller, directed by, let me quickly check, William Friedkin, who recently died. William Friedkin also made Sorcerer, also known as The Wages of Fear, Exorcist, and I think The Devil versus Father Amorth, I think, as well, and a number of really great films. French Connection, for example. I think he's a great director. Clearly was a very headstrong man with a very strong vision of what he wanted to achieve and was determined to achieve it, and the end result is he made some very good films. He also made, I think, 1983's Deal of the Century with Chevy Chase, which is not good. Not good at all. In fact, one of the least comedic comedies I've ever seen in my life. And I've been around a while now. This is a kind of follow-on from the kind of 80s noir crime thrillers that you would get in the realm of things like Manhunter, Thief, stuff like that. Very Michael Mannish in some respects. But kind of urban American crime movies. To Live and Die in LA, this is an edition on Arrow Video. Arrow Video are very, very good at both sending out poorly quality check discs. Yes, guys, you need to get a better QR department, or QC department, but also obscure films with huge amounts of bonus features. So this one has, and let me just quickly check, 4K restoration, standard presentations, subtitles. Do you remember the days when they put subtitles on DVDs? And said things like, animated menus and stuff. And I'd be like, oh, really? Wow, how exciting. So onto the stuff that's really good, actually. Interviews with actors and producers and cinematographers and stunt coordinators, making ofs, commentaries, all that type of stuff. I eat that shit for breakfast. I love it. So Arrow, alongside Powerhouse 88 and Indicator, are some of my favourite labels, simply because they stuff random things which aren't particularly good, chock full of lovely special features. And To Live and Die in LA is a pretty good film. Now, the film itself, very good 80s noir crime set in LA. Follows and fulfills a number of tropes, but at the same point is quite good about it. Not an amazing film, not William Friedkin's best film, not the best film of the 80s, nor even the best film of 1985, but still a fine movie and a good one if you're a movie aficionado to have in your collection. Let's go for the DVDs. Now, this is Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon. Now, if I remember correctly, Dog Day Afternoon is has John Cazale in it, who only made 5 movies. He was an incredible actor, and he died early in 1978 of, I think, cancer. He was in Deer Hunter, Godfather 1 and 2, Dog Day Afternoon. He was in something else as well. I think it was The Conversation. In every film he was in, he was just a magnetic personality that just completely I was drawn to. So one of the best actors I've ever seen is John Cazale. And this film is about a bank robbery that goes very, very wrong, very quickly indeed. Two optimistic nobodies set out to rob a bank, in which the cops, crowds, TV cameras, and even the pizza men have arrived. I don't remember exactly why they need to rob a bank. I have a feeling it's to pay for an operation, but I could be wrong. But this is just one of the greatest heist movies of all time. And if you've noticed a trend in my DVD and Blu-ray sets, is that I don't tend to have bad movies in my sets. I mean, occasionally I do. I bought Freddy vs. Jason and Jason X, Jason Goes to Space the other day. But neither of those are things I'm vastly humiliated about at all. Right, the 7-inch. Metallica's Mama Said from 1996. I think this is the only vinyl edition that's released in the world of this particular song. Mama Said is a really strange Metallica track. It's from the Divisive, is the polite way to put it, load and reload era, when the band used Raw's Arch ink blot tests on their sleeves, where they got things like dressed weirdly and unusually. And I think they tried to cast themselves as a very heavy kind of stadium rock version of U2, bringing on Anton Corbin's artwork, writing songs that were very far away from their original metal roots, of which Mama Said is probably the weakest. And by weakest, I don't mean worst. I just mean it's the lightest, least heavy song that Metallica ever released. It's basically just a James Hetfield and an acoustic guitar singing about the things that his mama said and his upbringing. And it's very country. It's probably the kind of Metallica song that you could expect to hear covered by some guy in a massive hat. It's not a great song. Don't like it, really. I mean, it's thoroughly average in many, many respects. When I listen to a band, what I like to hear is the differences in the band, the things that are unique about the band. You go, only Metallica could do that. Only Pink Floyd could do this. Only Kraftwerk could do that. But no, this one, I'm afraid, it could be anyone, really. It's okay. It's neither good nor bad. Not my favourite Metallica song. In fact, probably in my bottom 10 throughout the entire of their career. But it's okay. So why are you bitching about this when you bought it? Well, I'm a completist, as you know. I buy everything by everybody. And that means, I bought some bad albums, including, or more correctly, some albums that I have very little memory of and less interest in listening to ever again, of which I'm just going to pick an example that's staring out at me from the shelves is Revolting Cocks' 2009 remix album, Sexo Mixo, which is here. And I can talk about Ministry for hours. I won't, because firstly, nobody'd be interested. And secondly, I'm not sure I'd be interested at a certain point either. But it's the type of thing where if I like something, I'm all in. Even in the bad years, I'm all in, because there's still a chunk of good in the bad. So, Mama Said, one of the Metallicas, not great. No, not at all. So that's 3. I guess this one's going to be quite short today because I'm racing at great speed and furious anger for everything. Here's a CD. Oh my! Okay, so this is the Dead Kennedys Frankenchrist album. If I remember correctly, this album is responsible for a court case. And I could be incorrect, but there was a court case for a Dead Kennedys album that featured a H.R. Geiger poster, or a fold-out in it of a poster of a huge penis. And that, of course, obviously brought the band to a close. So I saw the Dead Kennedys in 2017 with their scab singer, whoever his name is. Before, I think, is it DK? No, JK, the band's drummer, died. They played the Dover Booking Hall, which is a venue that's near me. And it was because they were getting a ferry on a Monday morning and they could do a show on the Sunday evening and get a few quid for it as well. This is a price sticker from, and let me just quickly check, Age UK. I didn't buy this from Age UK. I don't quite know why the sticker's on here. No memory of it. Dead Kennedys are, in my opinion, great band. Very underrated. I think their current legacy is, I think despoiled is the word, by a dogged refusal to let sleeping dogs lie. So, for example, I think it's East Bay Ray, the band's guitarist. When I saw them, every song in the set list was no younger than 30 years old. The only thing they'd done to show that they weren't just a nostalgia act is they'd updated the song MTV Get Off the Air to MP3 Get Off the Web, which wasn't exactly vastly clever. And it really missed the influx of Jello Biafra, who is, in all accounts, quite a stubborn, headstrong individual, but also very good at what he does. I love this cover, and this cover is possibly one of those things that is very very reminiscent of what we're dealing with in America at the moment, which is, and let's be blunt about it, idiot fascist Nazis being racists and pretending they're going to make America great again. There is an American election next week, and I can't understand why people would vote for rapists, racists, serial adulterers, convicted criminals, bankrupts, fraudsters, liars, and idiots. But I've never been an American voter, so there you go. If you look at this and these ridiculous people in their stupid outfits, driving tiny little model cars on a parade whilst nobody else cares, tells you an awful lot. Maybe these hats should be dunce's caps, actually, because I don't think we should be ashamed to be judgmental about people when they're wrong. And oh boy, some people are wrong, aren't they? So Frankenchrist has some fantastic song titles, including Soup is Good Food, A Growing Boy Needs His Lunch, Jockorama, Goons of Hazard, that's one of my favourites, and Stars and Stripes of Corruption. So yes, that's this album. Haven't listened to it much recently, but it's part of my musical journey to get where I am today. And a book. Oh yes, brilliant. So this is the novelisation of Steven Spielberg's Gremlins. It's written by George Guype. George Guype also wrote the novelisation to Ghostbusters. This has the best chapter in any book by anybody I've ever read. If I remember correctly, it is chapter 11. Chapter 11 is 2 words and 1 page, I think. And let me just see if I can find it. Chapter 11. Right, there you go. Chapter 11. Pete forgot. Bang. Done. Brilliant. Fantastic. More writers need to do this. Gremlins is one of my favourite films. Mogwais are one of my favourite animals and one of my favourite bands. The novelisation, I have a huge selection of novelisations for films going back to the mid-70s. Because in the days before you could buy VHS tapes, or you could record Return of the Jedi off television. If you wanted to own a film, if you wanted to watch a film whenever you felt like watching a film, you had to buy the videotape. And the videotape came in 1978, 79, and things like ABBA the Movie and Raiders of the Lost Ark were like £80 for a videotape. It was prohibitive. And they were designed to be rentals so that you could get a lot more money out of it. And they thought, well, actually, if you charge £80 for a videotape and then you rent the videotape out 80 times, you get your money back. Whereas if you were charging £10, it killed the rental market. But they decided actually on the economies of scale, rather than charging people £1 to rent it 8 times, they figured most people that are going to pay £10 for it aren't going to rent it 8 times. So if you pay £10 for it, you might not watch it 8 times. So therefore, the only way to experience film was to rent it from Blake's Video Store at Cottridge High Street in 1983, wait for it to be on ITV 3 years after its theatrical release, or just pay 80 quid for the videotape. And then that all changed in 1982 when Raiders of the Lost Ark came out as a sell-through VHS at £10, changed the industry completely, and now we're going back to renting, quote, content. I fucking hate the word content. It's not content. What I do isn't content. This is just stuff that I do. Content is one of the worst words. It's like calling food or dinner like stuff. I just want to eat some stuff. Or like looking at a record, and instead of thinking it's a work of art or something, you just go, it's a product. No, it isn't. It's a portable, mass-produced work of art. This isn't content. This isn't content. And the only way to experience a movie at those days was to listen to the soundtrack album and to read the novelisation. Novelisations were a BFD, and I have probably 200 of them. And as I said, this has the best chapter of any book I've ever read. And I love this film. Well, I think pleasure is possibly not the word. I had the opportunity and met an actual gremlin, one of the gremlins that was used as a filming model in 2015 when I was at the Turin National Film Museum, which is in a massive tower, which is the biggest domed tower, I think, in the world, certainly until the Spear was made. It's like 500 foot tall, was originally constructed to be a church, turned into a national film museum. It's got a glass bottomed elevator that goes all the way up through the middle of it, all the way up to the top, and you can stand at the roof and you can look all over Turin. When I was there, I saw the clock from Metropolis. I saw Frankenstein's outfits, Darth Vader's outfits, and at the end of one long corridor there was a gremlin, an actual genuine screen used gremlin from the film, and I just had to just stand there and get a selfie with it. I don't know which one it was. It might have been this one here. It certainly wasn't that one because the ears weren't so big, but my God, photo of me with a gremlin and a selfie. Right, album. What's this? This is a gatefold. I don't know what it is. So recently I have gone through and bought gatefold PVC sleeves from Sounds Wholesale, so I can open out my gatefolds as opposed to having them inside a sleeve and never take them out. This is the best of REM, 1988 to 2003. This is, I think, and let me just quickly check the copyright date. This, I think, is the 2019 blue vinyl edition, which was released through HMV on National Album Day. And the best of REM, let me just quickly check and show you. Yes, blue. Blue is a colour, isn't it? Blue is the colour. And that is a lovely colour, although black's a colour too. And honestly, yes, I'm not a vinyl snob. I just, enthusiast, not expert, as they say on the James Bonding podcast. This is a unexceptional compilation album, in my opinion, which is not that humble. It's a collection of REM singles between 1988 to 2003. It was released at the record company's insistence. The band were recording Around the Sun in 2002 to 2003, broke off their recording sessions, finished a couple of tracks and toured for a bit before going back to release Around the Sun. This is a non-sequential compilation album of the band's REM Warner Brothers era. The earliest song on it is Stand, I think, and the most recent one is Bad Day, which was recorded in 2003. But it has a first-time album appearance for The Great Beyond, Bad Day and Animal. It also has, at the time, it also has a new recording of All the Right Friends. So there's 4 songs on here that isn't on, or aren't on any other REM album, so very definitely worth getting. And of course it also has At My Most Beautiful, Losing My Religion, Day Sleeper, The Sidewinder Sleeps Tonight, Stand, Electrolyte, all the way to Reno, Losing My Religion, Man on the Moon, What's the Frequency, Kenneth, Orange Crush, Imitation of Life. A great album if you're a casual fan of REM. A interesting view if you're not. And inside the gatefold sleeve we have annotations by Peter Buck, the band's guitar player and archivist, who is writing about the songs and telling us what he thinks of them. Yeah, I like it. It's a good record. I'm glad I have it. Sometimes REM is the only thing that will hit the spot. And this is exactly what it is. So that is a random record release Russian roulette experience for today. Only 20 minutes of me talking, but I will be back with more album ones shortly. I don't know what, I don't know when. I need to do some research actually. I need to write up some notes for Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind, the second Stone Roses album, The Second Coming, some other ones. This is a Mercy's Vision thing, Kraftwerk. I've still got some space to go on those, but in the meantime, here it is. Take care of yourselves and each other. Stay beautiful, and I will hopefully see you soon. Okay, bye.